Welcome to freedom. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you. Anything you do not say can and is implied that which is held against you shall be enforced. It's said that the rarer something is, its value exponentially increases in contrast. Yet the single most polarizing concern embedded deep within our fragile culture today is presented as a liability resulting from ill-gotten gains. The perspectives of men demand a willing audience to corroborate a narrative which requires an emotional acceptance of influential pleas filled with tears and sorrow, yet somehow void of substance. The dividing lines in life today cannot be any clearer than they are. However, long before a reasonable conversation can be held about freedom and, more importantly, its application, a far greater understanding of our perspective must first be challenged and refined in the imminent legal battle which may require your commitment to respond in a way that may put your life or reputation at risk. Many people view leadership as a rite of passage or a role designated for those with academic acumen. However, neither is appropriate for the task at hand. Since the creation of man, people have sought to rule over one another rather than become a slave to his brother. Ultimately, self-preservation is adopted as revisionist history in the hearts of those who practice doing unto others before they do unto you. Can you imagine a time in human history whereby brother fought against brother and mother fought against daughter? Yeah. Sarcasm aside, very little has changed over the course of human history. Yet men continue to believe their greatest need is to ascend to the top of an arbitrary pinnacle that was conceived in the limited minds of others. Tragically, this is precisely where the story begins for so many people entrenched in the predictable quagmire of other people's choices and more disappointments than can be measured. Anger alone will never be enough to overcome a minimalist understanding of the facts, yet a hint of frustration, selfishness, and pride will certainly generate enough courage to come alongside others far more advanced in their misunderstanding of the end game. It's about this time when your perspective is called into question, and your willingness to engage verbally, physically, and otherwise is only secondary to your understanding of the rules of engagement. So what's next? Facts never consider your feelings. Therefore, your perspective is forced to render a judgment regarding your willingness to enlist the rarest of character traits. How about humility, patience, kindness, self-control? Up until now, independence was self-manufactured, while your opinions were formed as a product of conforming to social groupthink. The very thing you've been seeking, desiring, and demanding has all been overshadowed by never once having asked the right question. How far am I willing to go to know the truth? Pontius Pilate's legacy is sadly captured in his fatal misjudgment of the author of freedom when he replied, "What is truth? Is knowing the truth worth losing your reputation or publicly admitting failure? Does being right displace being righteous? Would you personally ransom everything without limit to follow the truth?" Well, now that you're faced with a pivotal moment from which to move or realign your position, it may be best that you simply sit still for a moment and listen to wise counsel. Inasmuch as there are a lot of reasons to be deeply concerned and fearful of a toxic climate that saturates our communities, our country, even the entire world, there are far greater reasons to be hopeful and confident in the joy of life every single day. The choice has always been yours. Do you have a divine purpose? Or do you make your own luck? Life is far too short for you or anyone to attempt to reason away your invaluable purpose on this earth, which, by the way, was given to you by God Himself. Now, I can only imagine the number of heads shaking in disapproval at this point, yet no amount of doubt will ever disqualify God's love for you. You may not believe in Him, but let me be clear about something. He believes in you. The pressing question before we proceed any farther is, just how far are you personally willing to go to know truth? And once you've gotten a hold of the truth, how will you respond? I mean, don't kid yourself. Nothing is free. Freedom is never free from sacrifice or consequence, or choice. Anything offered to you for free of charge was ultimately paid in full by somebody else. Freedom very well may be most misunderstood as an enviable privilege to those who foolishly elevate social justice as their life's purpose. Yet the suggestion of benefiting from any form of privilege is problematic for those unwilling to defend it with their very lives. Some have said that one man's trash is another man's treasure. I mean, can freedom really be seen through that kind of a prism? I mean, it would stand to reason that freedom in all of its applications should be universally valued and shared and expressed in the hearts of every human being in every nation. Yet the intent of the super-emotional only seek to position themselves as the sole benefactors of any perceived reward. In some strange twist of contempt toward the human condition, freedom and liberty are intertwined as the new and improved version of oppression, worthy of immediate consumption. The appetites of many to evade accountability for their actions is palpable. You know, I remember learning an invaluable lesson in my life about the importance of knowing to whom I was speaking and who was speaking to me at any given time. Now, learning that lesson would become the foundation of a repeat skill set which I would master throughout my life, because effective listening skills always followed the respect of those who were speaking directly to me. The scriptures remind us in the book of James, chapter 1, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Those who listen to the word but do not do what it says are like people who look at their faces in a mirror and after looking at themselves go away and immediately forget what they look like. But those who look intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they have heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do. Now that's something to celebrate. You know, a secret by definition is the concealment of valuable information that is hidden from the public sphere. Yet the knowledge of such information can humble a man to his knees. So what shall we say then? Is there freedom in the knowledge of a secret so valuable that it's intentionally concealed from every man and woman on the planet? Yet the banner of freedom of and from one thing or the other is the platitude under which flagless allegiances are pledged every single day. You know, C.S. Lewis once wrote, "No man knows how bad he is until he's tried very hard to be good." There are many who blindly rise up and join the ranks of others in protest in the name of freedom, yet a clear understanding for the mission is no requisite for unity or morality of cause, rather a means to justify an exemption of moral scrutiny. So what shall we say then? Are we to strive toward a freedom which we believe an inalienable right, yet disobey our Creator's intended purpose? Never! Don't be fooled. Everyone has an opinion about freedom, particularly their own. Yet conflict arises not from one's own conviction that freedom exists, rather how it may be interpreted for the greater good. Your freedom was not invented by man or government nor tradition. It was given to you by God and secured by the blood of Jesus Christ. Full stop. True freedom is free to receive, but it ain't cheap. And it's never without consequence. Question is, are you personally even ready for true freedom? Subscribe and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Egypt Speaks. Until next time, be encouraged.